What's up, everybody? This is going to be a tarot review for my top 5 cutest decks I own and my top 5 coolest or dopest decks that I own. So, I have my top 5 tarot decks. So, hopefully, this stream, because I'm live streaming right now, hopefully, those of you who are watching and who will watch this later on, there's no glitches. If it is, I apologize in advance. So, okay. So, my first tarot deck that I think the cutest tarot deck I ever bought. The first one is the Manga Tarot by Selena Lynn. Okay. Um I love like Japanese art and culture and cartoons and stuff like that, and it's pink on top of that, so that's even cuter. It's pink. The box is pink. How it opens, it's dope. See how, isn't that cool? The guidebook is inside. Okay. I've had this deck for like 2 or 3 years now. I bought it off Amazon. Yeah. Got it off Amazon Prime. I don't remember the price because it was so long ago. Um, I want to say... it was like less than $30. Okay. Again, if I'm glitching, I apologize. But yeah, it was about under $30. So I just want to show you a quick look at the deck. They're shaped like rectangular. They're skinnier than most tarot decks. So say for instance, you can see the difference. They're way thinner. They're about the same length as a traditional tarot card, but they're thinner. They're so cute. So you'll see characters more so on the major arcana cards and the court cards, but any of the minor, simple minors is just going to be like swords, pentacles, and cups and stuff like that. They're easy to shuffle because they're so thin, the King of Pentacles. They have the Japanese writing on them too. So if you're good with reading other languages, this is for you. If you're a teenager and you want to start with tarot, this is an easy deck. I would suggest this as a tarot card. It's fairly simple to read. If you just want it in your collection, whether you're a teenager, an adult, what have you, you'll love this deck. It's very cute. I'll show you the guidebook if I can get it out my nails. With the help of my nails. So they have a guidebook. I think she gives you a background into her. I think she was a teenager when she made this. She was fairly young when she wrote this or when she created this deck. She tells you about the tarot. She has a few different spreads. So if you guys want to create or if you guys are looking for like a guide, you know, on placements to look at, she has a Celtic cross, which is a very popular tarot spread. The Celtic cross spread, which is a 10-card spread. If you want like an in-depth reading, you can do that for yourself. And then of course she goes into the meanings of the tarot. I have 3 manga tarot decks. The second one that I own is the Manga Tarot University deck, and this is by Sorora Takara. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. This is a cute deck. If you're a child, you might like this deck too. The only thing I don't like about the boxing is like the cards are too big to fit in its space, so they fly out a lot if you didn't notice. Very cute deck. I very much so love this deck. For some people, it might be childish. Another thing I don't really care for with this deck is when you shuffle, they get a little sticky. So you're going to have to break these in a little bit because they have like that really shiny type of finish. But this is one of the cutest decks I own. I actually teared up when I opened this deck. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen something so cute and when you look at it, it makes you tear up. Like, I'm only like that with babies or animals and movies and stuff. But when I opened these, I was like, these are so cute. And I was kind of tearing up. They're really cute cards. I love these. These are one of my favorites. If you're a teenager or you want to buy a deck for your kids to teach them how to read tarot, I would suggest this deck. So they also have a guidebook. She also, in her deck, gives you, of course, the meanings of each tarot card, but she also has spreads in them too. So most tarot guidebooks that come with the deck will have tarot spreads. She has a yes or no spread. She has the Celtic Cross spread, the 7 day spread. So she tells you how to get started, how to shuffle your cards. She has her own spreads in here too, the Magic Star spread and things like that. So yeah. And I bought this from Amazon too, I think. Amazon Prime. And it was under $30 too. Okay. These are one of my favorite decks. My next favorite deck is the Oceanic Tarot by Jane Wallace. And I love some of her decks. I have her Archangel Tarot deck, which I do love. So I'm going to show you her deck, her mermaid deck. And I love mermaids. So this deck is right up my alley. This is how her decks come out. Now this is a difficult one because it does slide out funny too. So here's her guidebook. Her guidebook, of course, is just like any other guidebook. It has, you know, how to begin a reading. She gives you her spreads. She has different spreads that you can use. 5-star card of the sea, mysterious deep 7-card spread, the week ahead spread, and then she gets into the meanings of the tarot cards. So let me show you the cards because they're very pretty too. Is a Chariot card. And then like some decks, if you're like a beginner tarot reader, this might be good for you because it gives you like keywords to remember what the tarot card means. So this would be the 3 of Pentacles recognition card. It has a little sea turtle. Has sea animals and mermaids in it. It has little mermaids, male mermaids, female mermaids. See, it's so cute. So the moon card is the illusion card. So she gives you keywords. So it's fairly helpful when you're getting started with the tarot reading, or even at times where you might be a gifted tarot reader, like a skilled, or you've been reading for a long time, but you get confused. It might help you with the keywords. The keywords stand out. So that's an option. The only thing that I can say that annoys me is the boxing. Because then you have to separate the guidebook from the tarot cards and all that. It is pretty annoying. It is what it is. Sometimes the cards get stuck in the box behind the guidebook. But other than that, it's not that big of a deal. I do like this part, though. Because this is not a box that you can ruin easily. Okay. I'm going to save the best for last. Because this last one, I have one more after this, but this is my favorite, one of my favorite, and this is from Doreen Virtue. This is the Animal Tarot. This came out not too long ago. Oh, by the way, Amazon Prime. I think it was like $22, this one. So, I love these because I love animals. So, I love this deck. It's so cute. This is a beginner-friendly deck, too. Because Doreen Virtue's decks, she'll usually give you the description of what the cards' meanings are. Okay, it's so cute because she has different animals. So the Dreamer is a shepherd puppy. It's so, oh, I'm gonna cry because it's so cute. And then the Chariot is horses, because we know in the traditional tarot there's the Sphinx and sometimes there's horses. So the horses fit with the Chariot theme. These are Arabian horses. And then there's a description. The King of Spring would be the King of Wands. And we know the King of Wands is fiery energy. So the lion can represent Leo. So I like how she did that. Queen of Summer is like the Queen of Cups. So she has elements. Her elements and her suits are broken down into seasons. So winter would be swords energy. Autumn would be pentacles energy. But these are really cute cards. These are one of my favorite cards. And then it has a cute kitty as the front of the card. I love these. These are fairly new decks because she released this, I believe, at the, was it either 2017 or this year? I can't remember. But I got these decks this specific deck not that long ago, and I bought it at my local bookstore, and I think it was about $17 after tax. But here's the guidebook. And just like any other guidebook, they give you steps on how to start your reading, how to shuffle the cards, how to meditate, how to ask a question, as if we really need to do all that. And then, of course, she has spreads, different spreads, as well as the interpretations of each card, which goes in more in depth. So I do prefer these types of boxes for my cards because they don't bruise easily and they are easy to open sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Saving the best for last. My next favorite, or my last favorite, because I did my top 5 favorite cutest tarot decks, it would be the Mystical Manga Tarot. I wanted this for Christmas too, and I overlooked it because the cost. I was going to get it off eBay, and on eBay it was way expensive, so I said, no, I'm going to just pass up on it for right now. Later this year, I bought this deck, and I've been in love with it ever since. This is actually one of my favorite decks that I own, period. Has a big guidebook, which I love. I love the boxing. The thing about the boxing is it has a ribbon that lifts your cards and the book, so it's easy to pull the cards out, especially if you have nails or no nails. But it's just, I love this deck. I love it. This is one of my favorite card decks. I love it for real. It's easy to read. It's easy to read. This is not a beginner-friendly deck only because it's not a typical... she'll go into her meaning for why she created the deck, whoever the person is. Her name is Ran Barbamore. She goes into the meanings of the tarot and then the advice for each card. What's the advice? What's the meaning? She has spreads. She'll give you the spreads. She has a few different spreads in here, which is helpful. She has a choices spread, a yes or no spread. She has a lot of different spreads. She has the one spread. So if you need to do a love reading, she has the one spread. So let me get into the cards because this is my favorite part. The sun card is so cute. So it kind of sticks to the traditional look of the sun card with the children, the sunflowers, and of course the sun. You can't forget the sun. Mr. King of Cups. The Nine of Wands. So it's kind of hard to, because some of her interpretations can go off just a little bit. The Knight of Wands is not always a negative card, but in this instance, she's showing it in a positive light. The Three of Swords. Three of Swords. The Nine of Pentacles, which is one of my favorite cards. I'm not going to show all the cards, obviously. The Ace of Swords. You guys can Google this deck if you guys are interested in the cards and all of that. But this is a very beautiful deck. This is one of my favorite. I would suggest getting this if you guys just want it in your collection or you want to give it a shot, even though if you're new at tarot readings or you want it in your collection. You can gift it as a gift for manga tarot lovers. I showed you all the manga tarots that I own. So, okay. So into my most dopest, coolest decks I own. My top 5. So my first, I would say, is the Color Your Tarot. The thing about this deck, though, the thing about this deck is it's only a major arcana deck, and you color it yourself. And I love that, because I'm an artsy person. I love to color. I love just being me, doing my own thing. But I do like the fact, I like the boxing first. Let me get into that. I like the boxing. It's not hard to open. It's safe. It's not easy to scratch up, break. If you guys love coloring books, you'll love this. So this guidebook, the table of contents, it has English language, Italian, Spanish, French, Dutch, and Russian. So it helps you to kind of guide you on the colors to use. So it's, you know, white, yellow, orange, red, green, indigo, blah, 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 and what each color represents. So if you want to help your intuition, you might pick and choose which colors to use. Kind of like just a coloring book. And then it gives you the meanings of each major arcana. So it's a major arcana deck. I've colored this on my own with markers. I did everything how I felt guided to do it. And it looks kind of psychedelic, which I love. So this is my vision. If I had a tarot deck, it probably would look like this, probably. But this is my deck. I colored it on my own. It's not the best, but it is what it is. I love it because it's mine in a way. It's personal to me. It's like my deck. The look of this, the look of the tarot without the coloring is kind of traditional Rider-Waite look, but of course without my coloring. But yeah, I love it. I thought I was like, hey, like, I love it. I bought this off Amazon, and I think I only spent $10 on this deck, actually. I think it was like $9.95 or something on Amazon. So I would suggest this because it's like your own. It's major arcana only, so keep that in mind. Only majors in this deck. But it's the business. Why not? Why not? Okay. My next favorite, and see, this deck, I mean, I don't like card boxes like this because I have a lot of card decks like that, and the boxes start to wear and tear. And even with me putting duct tape on it, it's still like, whatever. This is the Tarot of Sexual Magic, and this is one of the dopest decks I own because I do like the imagery of sex, obviously. For those of you who don't know, I do love and sexuality, but in its beautiful essence. Now, I do have to say, this box is not the best upkept box that I have. My guidebook looks like crap. It looks crummy. But this guidebook is not my favorite because it's solely just paper. It has no hard, hard paper, no shell, like hard shell book, whatever, if that makes sense. So no. It does give you all the meanings of the cards. If you guys need glasses like me, you can't really see this. It looks like you gotta read it like that. You're not able to see it. But it does go into the meanings of the tarot. You can't really see it. So I'm not sure what these are, but these are like buttons. The reason why this is my favorite deck is because it is risque. It is got like an old school type of feel to it. It is provocative, but on top of that, the imagery and the reading, when I read with this deck, I don't just use it for love readings or for the sole purpose of sexual energy. I read it as regular reading sometimes if I feel guided to go to these, if I feel guided towards these decks. You can really go in depth with these readings with these cards, or go in depth with your readings with these cards. I do love them though. They are pretty interesting. I've seen a little more provocative tarot cards geared around romance and sexuality than this one, but I would say this is one of my favorite tarot decks that I do own. I got this off Amazon as well. Not sure how much I paid for it. I'm going to just call it, let's say, under $30 at the very most. Okay. My next dopest deck I own is the Santa Muerte tarot deck, and I don't know if I said that right. So, the Book of the Dead. This deck is dope to me. I got it just in time for Halloween because I wanted to do a Halloween reading with it. Let me just show you this deck, okay? It's got the Day of the Dead theme. It has the sugar skulls and all of that. And this is by Fabio Lastrani. I hope I'm pronouncing their name right. This deck is, I love it. So, of course, it's going to have different languages. Goes into how the tarot got started. It goes into the major arcana. It's got the interpretations and meanings in the book. The advice. So it gives you the advice of the dead, which I like that. So if you're doing an ancestral reading for yourself or someone else, or if you're doing a mediumship reading with tarot and you're into speaking to the dead and all that stuff, this is for you. I love this deck. I have done ancestral readings with this deck too. I love this deck. Okay, I love it. The Lovers of the Two of Cups. This is my favorite deck too. I love it. I would not suggest this as a beginner. Absolutely not. I ordered this deck off eBay. So I can't remember how much it was. I want to say under $30. It might have been right on the money to $30, but I feel like it's well spent. And the cards are glossy. They're glossy, but they're easy to shuffle, and they're fairly durable. They're not like paper thin, and I love these cards. Like, these have to be one of my favorite cards I own. Um, yeah, it's my favorite. I love this deck. So I would suggest it for those of you who are into Halloween themes, like morbid themes, or, you know, ancestral readings and stuff like that, and you're not spooked out by certain imagery. I would use these cards. These are definitely one of my favorites. I love the case for it too. One of the cards that you cannot mess up, the boxing at least. I do not do Ouija boards. That's one thing I do not do. So I'm going to get in. I love his decks. I have his Lenormand decks. I have a couple more of his tarot decks. I have the Divine Tarot. I have the Gilded Tarot. I have the Gilded Lenormand. And I have the Tarot of Dreams. I also have his Fortune Tarot, or his Fortune reading cards. I love his decks. And I have his Oracle deck. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember the name of it, but I love his decks. Oh, the spread in the book. No, I have not done that yet. So this is the Divine Tarot that I'm looking into, and it's the gateway to the Divine Tarot. So this is its guidebook, and they have a really big guidebook, and it goes into the different aspects of each tarot card, the keywords, the reverse meanings, the descriptions, the elemental attributes, the astrological attributes, and the advice with each tarot card. So this is a good book to use if you guys are a beginner. I feel like you can work with these too, even though the picturing on the cards are not really traditional, like Rider-Waite traditional tarot. I would say these are still good to use. So I like these two because they have the ribbon that pulls the card and the guidebook up, so it's easy to take the cards out. But you don't really need to use that, maybe just for the book, because the cards kind of don't really fit the box and they're already overflowing. But these are not really typical tarot type of depictions, but this is the Nine of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. So of course the Three of Pentacles, you know, is like, the key word would be work, you know, contribution or something like that. And then the Nine of Swords, we know, was like mental anguish, worry, and stress and things like that. The King of Wands, we know he's the King of Fire. He represents the element of fire. Five of Wands. So it kind of does stick a little bit to it, but in its own way. Like I said, if you're a beginner, maybe not. But the guidebook is very helpful. It goes really in depth. I'm sure he has spreads in here. I don't use my guidebooks, by the way, so I might miss some things in them. I might not even do the spreads. They might have some really good spreads in here that I just don't know about. He goes into depth with his symbolism on his cards. Just so you know, this is a good deck. This was a Christmas gift from a friend, so I don't know how much she paid for this deck, but she ordered me one for Christmas. Thank you. Shout out to my friend. She bought this for me. She bought me a couple of decks, actually. If you're my friend, I would love you forever if you bought me a deck. I'm that type of person. Just give me a deck and I'm happy. Okay, my top 5 most dopest tarot deck I own is the Vice Versa Tarot. So, the Vice Versa Tarot, I got this from my bookstore, local bookstore of mine, and I want to say I spent, I want to say They don't have the pricing on here. I don't think I paid more than $25 for this deck. And I saw it because me and my friend went on a trip to Sedona, and we went to a metaphysical store, and they actually had this deck there. But at the time, I didn't have the money for it. I'm going to just be real. I didn't have the money for it. I felt like it was not my budget to be buying no more decks. So I overlooked it, but I kept it in mind. I seen it at my local bookstore, so I picked it up and I bought it. And this deck is awesome. I'm going to show you the awesomeness of it. The case is very pretty, for one. This is the guidebook. It's very big. I like big guidebooks because it's easy to see. They go into depth as well. What is the name? Luana Weatherstone, I think, is a publisher, or Los Cabello. They go into the symbolism of each card. If there's a child, if there's a tree, if there's an apple, if there's this, if there's that, they go into the meanings of the symbolism in the cards, which is really good if you're a beginner or you just want to get more in depth. Yep. So then it goes into the meanings of the tarot cards when it's in, because it has, okay, that's the point I want to make. So if you guys are not familiar with the vice versa tarot, it has two sides to the tarot deck. Okay? It has two sides. They're not really necessarily like upright and reversal type of aspects, but they're just like two different sides of a coin. So it has, with the court cards, the page of swords and the knight of swords, it has the outer self and the inner self, whichever aspect you're looking at. So if this is, you're reading into yourself and you pull one of these cards, or for another person, it's kind of showing you the inner and outward reflection, because court cards represent people, characteristics, personalities, and things like that. Queen of Wands, King of Wands. Let me do the this or that side, it's called. So with the minor arcana cards, it has a this or that side, which goes into different interpretations. So it's not so much of a, like I said, a reversal card, because some of the aspects that are like, it might be to some people like, oh, that's the negative side. No, it's not always that way. That's why I like this deck. I love it. I love this deck, for real. I have to say, this is one of my favorite tarot decks that I do own. I have used it often. So the Tower card, it shows you this side and it shows you that side. I'm sure they have spreads. I don't know. I've glossed over these, glossed over some of these meanings. I don't use my guidebook, but it probably would make my readings even more in depth if I did, maybe. But I just go solely off of my intuition and what I know from the tarot. But it probably would make it even more in depth, possibly, if I did read the guidebook, because it does go into depth. So this is the Moon card. I love this. It has the ribbons, if I didn't say that already. It has the ribbons that pull the cards up again. I would definitely refer you to this deck if you are a beginner and you want to learn tarot from different aspects. I would say this is okay to try. It doesn't totally revert off of the Rider-Waite look. It kind of sticks to it just a little bit, at least the imagery or the symbolism. It's not like cats and dogs and oceans, and it's not that crazy. This is one of my favorite decks, though, I have to say. And I have an abundance of other decks that I can get into. I might do an Oracle series, because I do have cute Oracle decks, and I do have some very dope Oracle decks that I do own that I don't always get a chance to use because they're a little too unique for some of the readings that I do. But I do definitely suggest that you guys get this deck. This is actually one of the dopest decks I've ever seen, because who would have thought to do this or that on a card? I thought that was the dopest thing I ever saw. I do have this other deck. I think it's called, it's like a reflection deck. Like on the card itself, it has two different aspects. It has the upright and the reversal. So depending on how you shuffle it, I don't really care for that deck. It's more, it looks kind of like a male type of tarot reader card. Like I would suggest that for a male reader. It's not really my taste. It's dope, but I just never really resonated with it. I read it one time, and I probably used it on YouTube like 2 years ago or a year ago. I might sell it. I've been saying that for the longest time, but that's just not my flavor. But all the other decks, I would. Thank you, Cat Lady. Yeah, Ethan, I might do the oracles sometime next week, maybe. Crystal said, I'm not ignoring you guys, just so you know. What's up, Crystal? What's up, Honey? What's up, Rita? Sunshine, I don't have a beauty channel. I don't know why I would. I don't know. I mean, I could probably do like hair tutorials or hair reviews because I do buy like, I'm gonna be honest, I love buying hair. Like, I get bored of my own hair. I don't like doing my hair sometimes. I don't want to deal with it. So I love buying wigs because it's easy. And then I don't have to mess with my hair. Like, I can leave it alone and just be good. So I'm getting off on a tangent, but I don't know, maybe one day. I don't want to start a beauty channel, though. That's the only thing. I don't want to put the energy into that. And I don't know how people would feel about me having hair tutorials on my reading channel. I don't know. Unless I like, oh, I colored my hair like the Empress, you know, this represents the Empress, and then like have tarot cards spray painted in my hair. I don't know. But I'm just playing. But yeah. These are my top 5 dopest and cutest tarot decks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love these cards. Like, I can like review cards forever because I feel like they're helpful for people because there's so many cool decks out there. I have one that's coming soon. It's coming from Germany, so it might take me a minute to get it. But I can't wait to show you guys this deck that I bought. This is probably going to be my top favorite deck. The only thing about it is it's only a major arcana deck. It's not a full card. I know the artist. She is working on creating the minor arcana aspect, and when she does, I can't wait. So it's Sailor Moon themed, so I cannot wait to get this deck. I'm excited. I'm so excited. So I will do a review on that once I get it. Definitely. Once I do get that deck, I will review it for you. If you guys love manga, you guys love anime, you guys love Sailor Moon cartoons, you might love that deck, so I'm going to be sure to review it. There's reviews on it already, but I'm going to do my own for my own taste because I'm excited. So, yeah. Be on the lookout for that, you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. If this was glitching and things like that, I am live streaming, so I do apologize. I will see you guys next time. Until the next reading.